You have noticed the shift. It did not happen slowly. It happened overnight. The people you used to laugh with, the friends you confided in, even the family members who have known you since birth, they are suddenly looking at you differently. Their eyes have changed. In its place is a cold, unexplainable distance. You walk into a room, and the conversation suddenly stops. You send a message, and the silence that follows is heavy, thick with an unspoken tension. You are not imagining this. You are not overthinking. The sudden arguments out of nowhere, the passive-aggressive comments, the way you are subtly being pushed out of the circle. This is real. Your physical reality is violently shifting, and the people around you are the first to show the symptoms of this fracture. You sit there, in the quiet of your room, replaying conversations in your head. You ask yourself, what did I do wrong? Did I say something offensive? Did I miss a social cue? The heavy weight of isolation sits on your chest like a stone. You feel the sting of betrayal from those you thought would stand by your side forever. The loneliness is profound. It is a deep, aching hollow in the pit of your stomach. You feel like a stranger in your own life, an alien walking among people who suddenly speak a language you no longer understand. You are experiencing the deep grief of being misunderstood, the heartbreak of watching the people you love actively choose to misunderstand you. It feels like a punishment. It feels like you are being exiled for a crime you do not even know you committed. But you must hear this truth right now, and you must let it anchor deep into your soul. You have done absolutely nothing wrong. What you are experiencing is not a failure of your personality. It is a spiritual eviction. Behind the awkward physical interactions, behind the deep emotional sorrow of this sudden isolation, a massive spiritual protocol has been initiated in your life. Your frequency has changed. Over the last few months, in the quiet moments of your suffering, in the moments you surrendered to the divine, your internal vibrations skyrocketed. You are no longer transmitting the same energetic signature that you used to. You have been upgraded. Your spirit has shed the heavy, dense layers of the matrix, and you are now radiating a blinding, high-dimensional light. And this light is terrifying to them. You see, the people who are treating you differently are not reacting to the physical you. They are reacting to the spiritual you. The spirits operating behind their eyes, the unseen forces that keep them anchored in low vibrations, are completely blinded by the new frequency you carry. You are carrying the frequency of truth. You are carrying the frequency of liberation. When you walk into the room, your mere presence demands authenticity. Your aura naturally exposes the hidden agendas, the deeply buried insecurities, and the lies they tell themselves just to survive their day. You do not even have to speak. Your silence is enough to trigger the demons hiding within their unhealed trauma. They are not pulling away because you are flawed. They are pulling away because your light is burning the masks right off their faces. This sudden isolation is not a curse. It is divine protection. The universe is forcing a separation because where you are going, they cannot follow. You have stepped into a sacred timeline, a holy elevation, and the atmosphere around you must be purified. The sudden change in how people treat you is the first irrefutable sign that you have been chosen for the next level of your destiny. Do not mourn the loss of their approval. Their rejection is the universe's redirection. You are being set apart. You are being hidden in the shadow of the Most High, preparing for a revelation that will shake the very foundations of their reality. Those strange looks they give you, that is not disgusting. That is spiritual intimidation. They are looking at a giant, and they suddenly feel very, very small. There is a romanticized idea about healing and stepping into your true self. The world tells you that when you finally choose authenticity, your life will instantly fill with light, joy, and effortless peace. But they do not tell you about the cost. They do not warn you about the heavy, undeniable toll that comes with choosing your own path over the comfort of the crowd. You are feeling that weight right now. It sits in your chest when you wake up, and it follows you into the quiet hours of the night. It is the cost of clarity. When you made the conscious decision to stop shrinking, to stop silencing your own needs just to keep the peace. You broke an unspoken contract with the people around you. For years, you played a very specific role in their lives. Perhaps you were the listener, the one who always compromised, the one who absorbed their stress, or the one who never rocked the boat. You fit perfectly into the puzzle of their comfort zone. But then, you started to grow. You started to say no. You began to set boundaries. Not out of malice, but out of a desperate need to survive and protect your own energy. This is where the friction begins. When you begin to heal, your very existence becomes a psychological mirror. You do not have to say a single word for this to happen. Just by standing firm in your new boundaries, you are reflecting back to them the areas of their own lives where they are still compromising. When you choose to walk away from toxic dynamics, you inadvertently remind them that they are still choosing to stay in theirs. Your courage highlights their fear. Your movement highlights their stagnation. This is the psychological reality of the shift you are experiencing. Human beings are deeply wired to crave the familiar, even if the familiar is unhealthy. When you change the dynamic, you threaten the equilibrium of the entire group. They are not pulling away because there is something inherently wrong with you. They are reacting with distance, defensiveness, and sometimes even anger, because they do not know how to interact with this new, empowered version of you. The old keys they used to unlock your compliance no longer work. The guilt trips fall flat. The manipulation tactics are suddenly transparent to you. This transition brings a very specific, quiet type of grief. It is the grief of outgrowing the spaces that used to feel like home. You are mourning the living. You miss the inside jokes, the easy weekends, the feeling of belonging to the group. There are moments when the loneliness is so heavy that a small voice in your head whispers, maybe it would be easier to just go back. Maybe I should just quiet down, apologize, and pretend everything is fine. But you know, deep in your core, that you cannot unsee what you have seen. You cannot force yourself back into a box you have already outgrown. The discomfort you are feeling right now, this intense, isolating friction, is not a sign that you have made a mistake. It is the very proof that you are evolving. The cost of authenticity is high. It costs you the illusion of comfortable relationships. It costs you the approval of those committed to misunderstanding you. But what you are buying with this heavy price is the one thing you can never afford to lose: yourself. Now that you have stepped completely out of the familiar box they built for you, pay very close attention to how they react. They do not just let you evolve in peace. They do not celebrate your newfound boundaries or applaud your commitment to your own mental health. Instead, a very predictable, deeply defensive mechanism is triggered within them. When you refuse to play your old role, you force them to face themselves. And for people who are committed to their own dysfunction, there is nothing more terrifying than a mirror. Watch how they move. Watch how the tactics subtly shift. First comes the resistance. They will look at you with disappointment and say, "You have changed." As if growth is a crime, they say it with a heavy sigh, trying to weaponize your evolution and make you feel guilty for no longer being the version of you that was easy to exploit. When the guilt trip does not work, the physical symptoms of their panic begin to show. You will notice the subtle smear campaigns. They will start controlling the narrative, whispering to other family members or mutual friends, painting you as the villain. They will play the victim of your boundaries. You will receive texts that completely twist reality, conversations where your words are taken out of context, and interactions where they selectively forget their own toxic behavior while magnifying your natural reactions to it. Emotionally, this is designed to exhaust you. It is designed to drag you back down into the mud of explanation. You feel a desperate, burning urge to defend yourself, to explain your intentions, to prove that you are not the bad person they are making you out to be. The confusion is suffocating. You sit there holding your phone, reading a message that completely denies the reality of what just happened. And you feel the psychological weight of gaslighting. It makes you question your own memory. It makes you wonder if maybe you are the problem after all. But you must hear this and let it resonate in your bones. Do not take the bait. They are not attacking you out of strength. They are attacking you out of profound, undeniable panic. You see, when you were complacent, when you lacked boundaries, you were a load-bearing pillar in their house of dysfunction. You absorbed their projections. You carried the weight of their unhealed trauma. Now that you have stepped away, their entire house of cards is collapsing, and they are scrambling to pull you back in to stabilize their reality. They are terrified of you. They are terrified of the unshakable power you have suddenly discovered. You have something they lack: the courage to stand alone in the truth. People who operate from a place of deep insecurity and narcissistic tendencies need a constant supply of energy to survive. They need your reaction. They need your anger, your tears, your desperate apologies, and your over-explanations. Your emotional reaction is the currency that funds their ego. When you withdraw that supply, when you respond to their chaos with absolute, unbothered silence, you strip them of all their power. You are no longer fighting them on their level. You have elevated. You are looking down at a maze you used to be lost in. The reason they are suddenly treating you with such coldness and hostility is that they have realized, with sudden and absolute clarity, that they can no longer control you. Your refusal to participate in their toxicity is the ultimate victory. Let them whisper. Let them misunderstand you. Their resistance is not a sign of your failure. It is the absolute confirmation of your freedom. Step back for a moment and look at the larger design of your life. We have talked about the psychological friction and the emotional weight, but now we must dive into the absolute, undeniable truth of why this separation must happen. There is a universal law at play here, a fundamental principle of existence that you cannot bypass, negotiate with, or ignore: the law of resonance. Energy must align with energy of the exact same frequency. When your internal vibration drastically elevates, your external reality is forced, by universal law, to aggressively rearrange itself to match you. Look around your physical reality today. You see the empty chairs at your table. Your phone screen remains dark, where it used to light up with demands from people who only wanted unconditional access to your energy. The days are quieter now. The physical space around you has been emptied, but what feels to your human mind like a painful, lonely void is actually the ultimate divine clearing. You are not being abandoned. You are being strategically positioned. Emotionally, the initial shock of their departure is beginning to fade. If you sit still, you will notice that beneath the lingering sadness, a strange, profound peace is beginning to take root. It is the deep, cellular relief of knowing you no longer have to perform. You no longer have to twist your soul into uncomfortable knots just to make toxic people feel secure. But why did the separation have to be this drastic? Why did the universe have to pull them away so violently? Because you are a cycle breaker. This is the unspoken prophecy of your life. For decades, perhaps even generations, the environment around you, your family, lineage, your community, your specific social circles has operated on a heavy, dense frequency. They have run on autopilot, fueled by the scripts of generational trauma, limitation, people-pleasing, and fear. They pass these heavy psychological chains down from one person to the next, never once questioning the weight. And then you woke up. You are the anomaly. You are the disruption in their matrix of mediocrity. You decided to stop carrying chains that do not belong to you. But here is the deepest truth you will hear today. You cannot heal in the exact same toxic soil that made you sick. You cannot build a towering, magnificent life on a foundation of rotting wood. The divine intelligence that guides your every breath knew that if these people remained in your inner circle, their gravity would eventually pull you back down. Their constant need for your subservience would act as an anchor, dragging you back into the depths of their unhealed trauma. If you stayed, you would eventually shrink to fit their comfort zone, and the monumental destiny you were born to fulfill would wither and die. So, the universe intervened. It forced the issue. It exposed their hidden motives. It amplified the friction. And it built a solid, impenetrable wall of separation between you and them. This isolation is not a punishment. It is an initiation. You have been placed into a spiritual incubator. The silence in your life right now is completely intentional. It is the absolute quiet required for you to finally hear your own intuition after a lifetime of drowning in their noise. You were never meant to blend in. You were never meant to be a background character in their play of dysfunction. You are the architect of a new timeline. The reason they are treating you differently is that, on a deep, subconscious level, they know your journey is taking you to heights they simply do not have the lungs to breathe in. Accept this truth. Embrace the clearing. The old stage has been dismantled because a kingdom is being built specifically for you. The time for explanation is completely over. You do not need to send another long, desperate paragraph. You do not need to defend your character to people who are determined to misunderstand you. Right now, in this very physical moment, I want you to drop the heavy armor you have been wearing for years. Stop gripping your phone, waiting for an apology that will never come. Stop pacing the floor, rehearsing arguments in your mind against people who cannot even hear their own inner voice. Every single time you engage in their physical reality, every time you try to use logic to cure their dysfunction, you are bleeding out your life force. You are handing them the very energy you need to build your new empire. So, the first practical step of your elevation is absolute. Radical silence. Cut the invisible cord. Withdraw your glorious presence. When they try to trigger you, when they launch that subtle, passive-aggressive attack, you will look at it, and you will physically turn away. You will walk outside. You will place your bare feet on the ground. You will breathe in the heavy, grounding air. and you will consciously instruct your nervous system that the war is over. And you have won. Emotionally, you must command the phantom guilt to leave your body. You know that heavy feeling in your stomach, that old, conditioned knot that tells you to shrink, to apologize for shining too bright? That is not your guilt. That is their shame, projected onto you. Acknowledge it. Feel where it sits in your chest, and then violently exhale it out into the atmosphere. It does not belong to you anymore. You are officially resigning from your assigned role as the family scapegoat. You are retiring the title of the black sheep. Spiritually, you are now entering a state of untouchable, divine sovereignty. You are sealing your aura. The attacks may continue from a distance. The whispers may still echo in rooms you have abandoned, but their low-density frequency cannot penetrate the blinding light of the shield you are activating right now. They are vibrating at a level of fear. You are vibrating at the frequency of cosmic truth. Their projections will simply bounce off your energy field and return back to the sender. I want you to speak these words over your life right now. You must feel them vibrating in the very center of your chest. Let this be your divine decree. Let this be the absolute sealing of your energetic field. Listen to these words and let them become your reality. I reclaim every ounce of my power from every person, place, and timeline that has ever tried to drain me. I completely release the desperate need to be understood by those who are married to their own illusions. I am currently surrounded by an impenetrable, high-dimensional fortress of divine light. No weapon of manipulation, no guilt trip, and no false narrative formed against me will ever prosper. I wash my hands of their chaotic matrix. I step boldly and permanently into my designated timeline. I am fiercely protected by the universe. I am the sole architect of my reality, and my frequency is untouchable. Feel the ancient weight lifting off your shoulders. Feel the absolute, undeniable clarity rushing back into your mind like a flood. The mental fog is completely clearing. Remember this forever. Your current season of isolation is not your grave. It is your cocoon. The universe has hidden you away so you can undergo a massive, multidimensional transformation without their constant interruption. When you finally emerge, when you step fully onto the stage of your grand purpose, they will not even recognize the giant you have become. And that is exactly the divine plan. You were not chosen to fit into their tiny world. You were chosen to build a new one. If this exact message vibrated through your soul today, if you feel that massive internal shift locking into place right now, I need you to anchor this truth into the physical realm. Go into the comments below and type the exact words, "I claim my power." Let that be your undeniable declaration to the universe that you are ready for the highest level of your destiny. Subscribe to this space, because you are no longer walking this difficult path alone. You have finally found your true tribe. The chosen ones are gathering. The frequency of this planet is rising, and your magnificent time has finally come.